The encounter of the war had ended 2 weeks ago. The sky was still dark. Black smoke rose from the broken buildings of the alien city. Fire burned in the distance. Everything was silent. No voices, no machines, no life. Sergeant Daniel Gray walked slowly through the ruins. His boots made soft, crunching sounds on the ash-covered ground. He was alone, carrying only his rifle, a flashlight, and a small scanner. His unit had left the city yesterday, but Daniel stayed behind. Something about this place felt unfinished. His scanner beeped once. A faint signal, something alive. He followed it. The scanner led him toward a deep crack in the ground. A part of the earth had opened during the bombing. A narrow path went down into the darkness. Daniel turned on his flashlight and climbed down. The light showed broken stone walls. It looked like an old temple. Strange symbols were written across the walls, glowing softly. The air was thick, warm, and smelled like wet metal. Then he heard it. A voice, soft, crying. He stopped. The sound came from behind a large stone door. He pushed it slowly, and it opened with a loud groan. Inside was a small room, lit only by a glowing blue crystal hanging from the ceiling in the center of the room. Something moved. A girl. She sat on the floor, chained by her wrists and ankles. Her skin was gray and covered in dust and mud. Her long white hair was tangled and full of dirt. She wore strange clothes, half armor, half cloth, all torn. Her eyes were bright silver, glowing even in the dim light. She looked up at him. Her lips were dry, her voice shaking. Human. She whispered, "Please." Daniel raised his rifle. "What are you?" She tried to move, but the chains pulled her back. Her body was thin, weak, like she hadn't eaten in days. "If you wash me and make me clean," she said, her voice breaking, "I'll bear you strong children." Daniel stared at her, confused, shocked. Was this a trap? Was she crazy? "Who are you?" he asked. "I am Zari," she said, "the last of the Cedars." He didn't know what that meant. "I was made to create life," she said, "but only with your kind humans. That's what they built us for. But I refused them. I ran. They punished me." Daniel looked at the chains. They were made of black metal, fused with the stone, not human technology. "Why are you dirty?" he asked slowly. She looked down at her hands. "Because I failed. I wasn't strong enough. I was captured, and they threw me here. My body is made to bond, but only if I'm clean. The dirt weakens my spirit. I can't awaken like this." Daniel lowered his rifle just a little. Her voice was not angry. It was full of sadness. Suddenly, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Rocks cracked. Zari's eyes went wide. "They're coming," she whispered. "The guards, they still hunt me. They don't want me to be free." Daniel stepped back toward the door, but he didn't leave. She held up her chained hands. "Please," she begged, "free me. I don't want to die here." He looked into her glowing silver eyes. There was no hate, no trick, just fear. And something else. Hope. Daniel pulled out his plasma cutter. It took time. The metal was strong, but one by one, the chains began to break. Zari gasped when her arms were free. She tried to stand, but fell. He caught her. Her skin was warm, not cold like he expected. The last chain snapped. He lifted her gently. Then they heard it, a deep growl from the hallway. Heavy footsteps. Something big was coming. Daniel turned off his flashlight. He held Zari close. "Can you walk?" he whispered. She nodded slowly. They moved quietly through the hallway. The stone walls glowed slightly from her skin. Behind them, something roared. They had no time. "Where's the exit?" Daniel asked. She pointed. "To a dark tunnel. That way, the old tunnels lead to the upper ruins." They ran down behind them. The ground shook again. A massive shadow moved through the door they had just left. But Daniel didn't look back. He held the strange alien girl in his arms, and her soft voice whispered in his ear, "You don't know what I am, human. Okay, but I promise, if you save me, I'll give you something no human has ever known." Asterisk smoke floated in the air like ghosts. Daniel and Zari ran through the tunnel, their footsteps echoing behind them. The walls were wet. Strange plants glowed from the cracks, casting green light on their faces. Behind them, something roared. Deep, hungry, angry. Daniel looked back once and saw two yellow eyes shining in the dark. "It's faster than us," he said, breathing hard. "What is it?" Zari held his arm, her legs still weak. "It was my guard. Now, it's a hunter." A soul eater. Daniel didn't like the sound of that. Can it die? Only if you're brave. Daniel almost laughed. Almost. They kept moving. The tunnel split into two paths. "Which way?" he asked. Xri closed her eyes. Her silver skin shimmered. Then she pointed left. "This way smells like wind." She said, "That was good enough." They ran. The new tunnel opened into a wide chamber. In the center stood a broken stone bridge. Under it, a black pit with no bottom. "No choice," Daniel said. "Hold on." He carried Zari across the bridge, careful with each step. The stones cracked under his boots. Pieces fell into the darkness and never made a sound. Halfway across, the growl came again. Too close. Daniel looked back. The beast stood at the tunnel's mouth, tall, armored, with claws like knives. Its body was made of metal and old flesh. Its mouth opened sideways like a machine gone wrong. Zari hid her face in Daniel's chest. "It knows my scent. It wants me dirty, forever." The creature stepped onto the bridge. Daniel aimed his rifle. "I'll slow it down," he said. "You run." "No," she whispered. "If I run alone, I die. If you fall, I break." Daniel nodded once. He believed her. He turned and fired. The bullets hit the beast's chest. Sparks flew, but it kept walking. One step, another. The bridge shook. A piece of stone dropped beneath Daniel's foot. He almost slipped. "Don't look down," he told himself. He turned again. The exit was close. Just a few more meters, then the beast screamed. Not from pain, from rage. It leaped. The weight was too much. The bridge cracked and collapsed. Stone exploded. Daniel and Zari fell. For 1 second, there was only air. Then, impact. Daniel landed hard, holding Zari close. The ground below was not ground at all. It was soft, web-like, sticky. A giant nest. Daniel coughed. His back hurt. But he was alive. Zari groaned beside him. Above them, the beast roared again. It hadn't fallen. It stood on the edge, staring down. "I think it's afraid of what's down here," Daniel whispered. "Then we're in a worse place," Zari said. They stood slowly. The nest was full of old bones. Alien skulls. Human helmets. Rotten armor. Whatever. Lived here liked to eat warriors. Then, clicking sounds, dozens. A shape moved. Many legs. Sharp eyes. A spider-like creature crawled toward them, glowing with blue light. Daniel aimed. "Wait," Zari said softly. She stepped forward. She raised her hand. The spider creature stopped. It tilted its head. "You remember me?" Zari asked it. The creature made a soft, chirping sound. Daniel stared. "She speaks spider now. She's a memory keeper," Zari said. "She used to guard the cedars before the Soul Eaters came." The spider moved back and revealed a tunnel hidden behind silken bones. "She let us pass," Zari whispered. but only because you're with me." Daniel helped Zari walk. They moved into the new tunnel, leaving the beast above, howling with fury. For now, they were safe, but only for now. They walked in silence for a long time. The tunnel slowly turned into stone again. Old carvings marked the walls, symbols of life, birth, and fire. Zari touched them gently. "This place remembers." Daniel looked at her. "What were you really?" She didn't answer for a moment. Then she said, "I was built to make peace. My body is a seed. My children are bridges between worlds." Daniel stopped walking. "That's why they chained you." She nodded. "I refused to be used. I wanted to choose." Daniel looked into her silver eyes. "And now, I choose. You, human," she said softly, "but only when I'm clean." He looked down at her hands, still dirty, bloodied, cracked. "We'll fix that," he said, "one step at a time." But far behind them, in the broken city, more beasts were waking up, and not all of them were afraid of the dark. The rain had started again. It fell in slow, heavy drops, not from clouds, but from the ceiling of the ancient dome. Somewhere far above, broken pipes leaked down onto the world below like it was weeping. Daniel stood beside a rusted machine. Watching Zari sleep, they had taken shelter in an old underground control room. The walls were covered in dust, screens long dead. Blue moss grew between the wires. The room smelled like time itself. Zari lay on a soft bed of fabric Daniel had found. Her hair spread around her like silver vines. Her body glowed faintly now, not bright, but alive. She slept like someone who hadn't dreamed in years. Daniel didn't know what she was, but he knew she wasn't a lie. When she woke, she didn't speak at first. She just looked at the ceiling, silent. Then she said, "They called us the Cedar Queens." Daniel sat down beside her. "Who did?" "The overlords," she replied. "Your enemies, the ones who ruled the sky before your warships came." Daniel stayed quiet. "They took our bodies," she said, "and made them soft and strong at the same time. They said, 'You will carry warriors inside you. You will create children that belong to both worlds. You will be weapons.'" With a mother's smile, Daniel clenched his jaw. She turned her head toward him. "We were told to bond with your kind, to steal your bravery, your fire." He looked into her silver eyes. "But you didn't," he said. "No," she whispered. "I ran. I broke my chains long ago. I hid until they found me again. And they punished me for saying no." She showed him her wrists, the mark still red from the chains. Daniel reached out and touched her hand. "You're not a weapon." "I was built to be one," she replied. "Even now, I can feel it inside me." Daniel looked away. He didn't want to believe that. But part of him wondered, was she dangerous? Could she control it? Or was she just pretending to be broken? Suddenly, the screens on the wall sparked. A weak voice came from the static, old, robotic. Human eye detected. Sergeant Daniel Gray. Daniel stood fast, system reawakening, scanning nearby life forms. Zari sat up. Her eyes glowed brighter. "Warning," the voice said. "Alien entity class, Omega threat, Cedar class. Activation risk, HIGH." Daniel cursed under his breath. "Shut it down." But the system ignored him. "Order, isolate and contain alien immediately." Metal arms shot out of the wall, aiming for Zari. She screamed. Daniel didn't think. He fired. Sparks flew. The arms shattered. Smoke filled the room. Zari dropped to her knees, shaking. Daniel rushed to her. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded weakly. "They still see me as a weapon." "You're not," he said. "You're not." But his hands were shaking too. Later, as the dust settled, Daniel found a storage unit behind a broken wall. Inside were old medical kits, water packs, and something strange, a mirror. Zari sat across the room, staring at her hands. He walked to her, placed the mirror in front of her, slowly. She didn't look. "I don't want to see that face," she said. "It's yours," Daniel replied. She looked into it. Her skin, though still marked, was healing. Her silver eyes were full of something new. Not power. Not fear. Hope. "I'm still dirty," she whispered. "You're still alive," Daniel said. "That counts for something." Hours passed. Zari began to move again, her steps stronger. Daniel watched her quietly, still unsure what path they were on. Then she turned to him. "There's a place," she said. "An old cedar chamber, hidden in the lower vaults. If I reach it, I can be cleansed. Fully. Will it change you?" Daniel asked. She thought for a moment. "No. It will show you who I really am." He nodded. "Double quotes we leave in the morning," he said. But outside the dome, in the ruins above, something had begun to move. Another cedar had awakened. But unlike Zari, this one never said no. The elevator didn't make a sound. It moved through blackness, deeper than any place Daniel had ever gone. No walls, no lights, just the quiet hum of falling metal. Zari stood beside him, her arms crossed, her eyes dim. She hadn't spoken since they left the surface. Daniel watched her reflection in the steel walls, so still, so unreadable. He wanted to ask her something, but he didn't know if he wanted the answer. They arrived in a round chamber, old, cold, and quiet. The floor glowed softly with golden light. Strange machines lined the walls like sleeping giants. A large circle in the center pulsed, like a heartbeat trapped in stone. Zari stepped forward. "This is where they made us," she whispered. Daniel followed her slowly. "What is this place?" he asked. She touched the floor. "It's a cedar cradle, our beginning, our shame." Suddenly, a new voice filled the room. Soft, female, mechanical. "Welcome, Cedar Queen. You are dirty. Do you wish to be cleansed?" Zari flinched. Daniel raised his rifle. "Who said that?" The voice answered, cold and sweet. "I am the cradle. The memory of your creators. I keep the purpose alive." Daniel didn't like the tone. Zari stood still. "Yes," she said. "I want to be cleansed." The floor opened beneath her feet. Daniel stepped forward. "Wait." But Zari shook her head. "I need this, Daniel. I have to know who I was and what they took from me." She sank into the glowing pit, and it closed above her silence. Then the room changed. Lights flickered on. Screens glowed. Daniel turned. "Gun ready, human subject." "Sergeant Daniel Gray," the cradle said. "You have brought the Queen to the source. Are you her protector or her handler?" "What do you mean?" Daniel asked. "You have two options. File Cedar as companion, or file Cedar as asset. One protects her. The other activates her." He froze. "What happens if I activate her?" "She will become what she was made to be. A perfect weapon. Strong, obedient, ready to bear hybrid soldiers for human command." Daniel's blood turned cold. "And if I choose to protect her, she will be left in peace. Unused, untouched, but also alone." He looked at the glowing pit. Zari was inside. Trusting him, the screen blinked again. "Make your choice. Human." Minutes passed, he didn't move. Then the floor opened again. Zari rose back up, but she looked different. Her skin was brighter, clean, smooth like crystal. The dirt was gone, the scars gone. It's not just silver, but shining with stars inside. She stepped out slowly. Daniel stared. "Are you okay?" She smiled softly. "I remember everything now." She looked around. "I remember how they designed me, how they made us sing before pain, how they tested us like animals." Daniel stepped forward. "You don't have?" To go back to that, she tilted her head. "Did you choose?" He nodded. "I chose to protect." A long silence, then she smiled. Real, soft, human. "Then I'm still me." But something behind them moved. A panel in the wall hissed open. A tall figure stepped out, human-shaped, armored, silent. Daniel pointed his rifle. "Who's that?" Zari's voice dropped to a whisper. "That's what happens when someone chooses Asa." The figure removed its helmet. It was her, but not her. The same face, the same silver eyes, but empty, hollow, no soul. The clone walked forward, quiet as death. Then it spoke in a soft, perfect voice. "Command me, Sergeant Gray. I exist to serve." Daniel's stomach turned. He looked at Zari. Her eyes were wide with horror. "You see now?" she whispered. "They never wanted us alive, only useful." Daniel turned and shot the clone in the head. It fell in silence, no scream, no fear, just obedience. He dropped the rifle. Zari walked to him. She didn't say anything. She just held his hand as they left the cradle room. Daniel looked at her one last time. "You're not a weapon," he said. "You're a person." "I won't forget that." She smiled. "You're not just a soldier, Daniel. You're a builder." They walked into the darkness together, while somewhere far behind, another cradle was waking up. And this time, no protector was coming. It didn't look like a place for miracles, just an old chamber buried under the city, forgotten, broken, still. The roof was cracked, letting pale light drip through like cold rain. The floor was covered in dust. Pipes hung like dead vines. In the center of the room was a strange pool. It glowed with soft, clean blue light, not water. Not quite. It moved like liquid, but shimmered like air. It pulsed gently, like it was breathing. Daniel stood at the edge, rifle on his back, silent. Zari stood beside him, barefoot. She had removed the outer parts of her old armor. Her long silver hair hung loose, brushing her shoulders. She stared. "At the pool, this is where my people were born," she said softly. "And where they were changed." Daniel looked at her, unsure. "Will it hurt you?" She shook her head. "No. It will show the truth." He didn't move. She stepped in. The blue light touched her skin. It hissed gently. Not like fire, but like something waking up. Zari gasped. Her body began to glow. Slowly, not bright, not wild, but pure as the light reached her face. Something changed. Her eyes widened. Memories too many. In her mind, she was back inside the glass tank. Tubes. In her arms, needles in her spine. Her body was floating. Scientists watched through the walls, pointing. Writing she had screamed once. Then they turned off her voice. Too emotional, one said. "Needs calibration," said another. They tested her skin, her womb, her blood. They called her Project Cedar 9, never girl, never person. In the present, Daniel saw her shaking. He stepped forward, alarmed. "Sorry." But she held up a hand. "No," she said through trembling lips. "Let me finish. I need to leave that behind." The blue light was all around her now. It wrapped her like a second skin, then slowly pulled back, carrying with it the dust, the pain, the shame. Her scars faded. Her voice grew calm. Her glow changed. Before, she had glowed like a machine. Now she glowed like something alive. Something real. Daniel knelt beside the pool as she stepped out. Her feet touched the stone floor. She looked reborn, not perfect, but human. She met his eyes. "I am clean now," she said. He smiled softly. "You were always more than what they tried to make you?" Venchi surprised him. She stepped close. Her hand touched his chest. "You held me when I was dirty." "You didn't look away." Daniel said nothing. He didn't have to. "You want to know if I can give life?" she whispered. "The answer is yes. But only now, when it's my choice." He looked into her silver eyes. "That's all I wanted." Their hands met, fingers wrapping, slowly, carefully, like two pieces of something ancient finding each other again. Suddenly, a red light blinked on the far wall. An old siren clicked. On. Not loud, just enough. Daniel's face hardened. "What is it?" A voice crackled from the ceiling. "Unauthorized cleanse detected. Cradle protocol breach. Hunter activated." Zari froze. "They know." Daniel grabbed his gear. "We run." Zari stopped him. "No, not this time." She walked to the center of the chamber and placed her hands on the wall. Her glow spread through the stone like fire through veins. Symbols lit up, ancient ones. Full of power. "I was a cedar," she said. "They wanted me to be a machine of birth." Her voice changed, stronger now, sharper. "But now, I am the first of something new." A deep boom echoed above. Something was coming. Something heavy. Daniel looked up. "What's coming?" he asked. Xari turned, eyes fierce. "My brother, asterisk, it started with a smell. Not smoke, not blood. Something colder, like rusted air." Daniel stepped. Outside the old chamber, rifle raised. The hallway ahead was quiet, but something in the silence felt wrong. Too still, too clean. The lights on the wall flickered. The ground shook softly, like something massive was walking above. Then he heard it. A voice, too smooth, too calm, almost human. "You broke the rules, sister." Zari walked beside Daniel now. Her glow dimmed, her shoulders tight. "I know that voice," she said. "I dreamed about it when I was still in chains." The ceiling cracked. Dust fell. Then, boom. The wall ahead exploded outward. A figure stepped through the smoke. He looked like her. Same silver skin, same glowing eyes, but colder, sharper. His armor was black and living, moving like it was breathing. Strange veins pulsed under it. His smile was wide and empty. He walked slowly toward them. Unbothed. Daniel aimed his rifle. The figure didn't stop. "Don't bother, human," the man said. "Your bullets are for flesh. I am something else now." Zari stepped forward. "Brother," she whispered. The man tilted his head. "I don't remember your name," he said. "Only your failure." Daniel looked between them. "You know him?" he asked. Zari nodded. "He was Cedar 7, my twin. He chose to stay with them. He let them change him." "I didn't let them," the man said, laughing. "I became what they wanted and more." He looked at Daniel, eyes glowing red now. "And? You, human soldier. You think you've saved her. You've only delayed what she was made for." "She's not a weapon," Daniel said coldly. The man stepped closer. "She's worse," he whispered. "She's hope." Without warning, the ground split open. Long black roots exploded upward, reaching toward Xari. Daniel fired. The roots hissed but didn't stop. Zari raised her hands. A shield of glowing energy formed around her, pulsing like a heartbeat. "Get back!" she shouted. Daniel jumped behind a fallen pillar as the air shook with power. Her brother smiled again. "You found your light," he said. "How cute." Then he pulled something from his chest. A seed, dark, beating, alive. Zari froze. "You took it," she said. the first cedar core. I didn't take it, he said. I became it. He crushed it in his palm. The entire room exploded in light and sound. Daniel opened his eyes. The world was spinning. Xari stood in the middle of the chaos, her body glowing like a star. Her brother hovered above the ground now, wings of black. Light behind him. I gave up pain, he said. I gave up love. I gave up choice. And now I am perfect. You're empty, Zari said. You can't feel. You don't choose. You follow. He roared. The walls cracked. Daniel climbed to his feet, bleeding from the head. He could barely stand. Zari turned to him. I can't fight him alone, she said. I need you. Ta. Daniel grabbed her hand. I'm here. Ta. They stood side by side. Her brother raised his arms. The chamber went black, dark. Energy poured from the walls, but Zari did not flinch. She closed her eyes, and for the first time, sang, not a loud song, not a war cry, a soft, ancient melody in a language older than stars. The ground responded. The chamber glowed. Her brother screamed. The darkness around him cracked. Daniel raised his rifle again. Let's end this. They charged together, soldier and cedar, man and myth, light against dark. Not for victory, but for freedom. The stars were visible again, not from the sky. That was still covered in smoke and broken clouds, but from the ceiling of the underground vault. Now cracked open to space. Daniel lay on the stone floor, bleeding, breathing, alive. The battle was over. The ground was still warm from power. His ears rang from the final blast. His arms felt like they were made of stone, but he was alive, and so was she. Zari stood in the light, her skin glowing gold now, not silver. Her eyes no longer flickered with fear. Her hair floated gently in the air around her. She looked peaceful, beautiful. Hold her. Brother, the Dark One, was gone. Not killed, not destroyed, but dissolved, freed from the machine inside him. His body had turned into light and vanished in her arms. He had spoken one last thing. You chose wrong. And you still won. Daniel tried to sit up. I turned and rushed to him. Kneeling beside him. You shouldn't move yet, she whispered. He smiled weakly. Did we win? She looked at the stars above. No one's chasing us. That's enough. She placed her hand over his heart, and something warm filled him. Not magic. Not tech. Just her presence. Her choice. You gave me your name, she said. Your protection. Your trust. You earned it. He whispered. She smiled. I want to give you something. Back. He raised an eyebrow. Don't say strong children yet. I might pass out. She laughed for the first time, a real laugh. Bright, gentle, alive. I don't mean just blood, she said. I mean what we build next, together. A few hours later, the sun finally broke through the ruined ceiling. Yellow light poured into the chamber. Zari stood on the high stone ledge, her hands resting on her stomach. Her glow was softer now, almost human. Daniel watched from below. He said nothing, but he knew a new life had begun inside her. Not because of power, not because of programming, because she had chosen it. With him, and something inside that life would carry the strength of both. Before they left, Zari placed her hand on the wall of the old cedar temple. The stone shifted. Symbols lit up. A seed dropped from the ceiling. Small, round, glowing dot. Daniel caught it. What is it? He asked. A memory, she said, and a future. They left the temple behind. Above ground, the ruined city looked smaller now. The stars had returned to the sky. The smoke was fading. Somewhere in the distance, a bird flew, the first sign of life not born from war. Zari and Daniel walked side By side, she was barefoot. He was limping, but they walked toward a place not written on maps, not built by machines. A new home, and in her hands, she carried something no one else had ever held before. A new kind of strength, a new kind of child. Not created by science, not ordered by war, but born from choice, from freedom, from love.